Hi, and welcome back to Hill and Ponton's Veterans Disability Blog. I'm Natalia, Jofre, our company COO.
And I'm attorney Ann Linscott.
And today we're going to be talking about the 5 common mistakes made when a veteran is filing their claim.
Yes.
Right? So let's go with number 1, which is not filing your claim right away.
Yes. So that's a big mistake as far as you can't get the benefits until you file a claim.
Mm-hmm.
The VA has duties to assist and duties to notify veteran, but all of that is triggered by the filing of the claim. So the VA has no duty to tell a veteran that they should file for a claim.
Okay.
From the onset, there's obviously exemptions to every rule,
right?
But for the most part, all of those duties for the VA to do things starts when you file a claim, and really the main importance or the main reason for it being a mistake to not file early is that you're risking giving up a lot of money,
right?
And potential benefits.
Yeah, the longer you wait, the longer it takes to get you paid,
right?
The longer, you could lose. Okay, so number 2, giving up on your VA claim. We see this a lot, unfortunately.
And it's totally understandable. I mean, even as an attorney, the VA is frustrating. So, not only is it a complex system just to understand as far as what forms to file, timelines, things like that, then you throw the legal issues in the mix, and I can understand why veterans, just say it's not worth my time or frustration. That's where we can step in and obviously help take care of some of those frustrations. But it's a mistake to just give up on that, because similar to not filing a claim, you're giving up not only monthly compensation benefits, but potential healthcare benefits,
which is huge.
Miscellaneous benefits that are available to veterans for service-connected conditions. So, if this process itself is just weighing on you, definitely don't give up.
Yeah.
Call a firm like us. Yeah. Look and see if there's someone that can help take over those frustrating parts, so that you can still pursue the benefits.
And I think that sometimes people do feel overwhelmed, even when they watch the videos. They're like, wow, it's so much information to go through and so much to understand and so much I feel like I need to do or get, and I'm just not up to it. And it's like, that's kind of one of the benefits,
right,
of hiring someone. It's to remove that burden from you so that you don't have to deal with that. Right. We tell people all the time, we'll focus on your claim so that you can focus on getting better.
Exactly.
Because many times just managing your own health, that's a full-time job.
Yes. And I was going to bring that up. That's what I tell veterans a lot. You take care of you. We'll take care of the VA side of things. Mm-hmm. And of course, there's always going to be, hassles and frustrations involved with anything, but we can help take away a lot of that.
Yeah.
The not knowing things and kind of boil it down to what you need to know and take care of that. So definitely don't give up on claims, even ones that are tough. And, we've had plenty of veterans come our way that say everyone else refused my case. And we've been successful with that. So
Yeah. I know you just recently had a pretty big case.
Yes.
Where you got a veteran increased from 10% to 100.
Yes.
And he got 13 years worth of back pay.
It went all the way back, to 2006. So that was a huge case. Wow. And there's still more to go.
Yeah, good for him and good for you. Congratulations on that case. So number 3, failing to learn how the VA decides to give you benefits.
Yes, so that can kind of go in with giving up on a claim as far as, all of that information that's out there and why it's helpful to have an attorney.
Mm-hmm. Why would you say, maybe this will help, why would you say the VA usually denies most claims the first time?
Lack of evidence. Mm-hmm. It may even be just misunderstanding. The evidence might be there, but the VA missed it, or the veteran has it and thought the VA had it. Simple things. Also, the VA can lowball ratings. So you want to understand, in a general sense at least, kind of what you might be entitled to, because you might need to appeal and get a lot a lot more benefits. I mean, the difference between even a 90% combined rating and 100% is a lot of money. So knowing how the ratings work kind of helps enable you to know, is it time to give up or not give up? But is there more to go, more things to do? So that helps as far as, you know, being an advocate for yourself. Although if you do hire an attorney, we're there to advocate for you. If you haven't hired an attorney, or, you know, we only know as much as sometimes a veteran can tell us. I mean, we don't know what's going on day to day with the veteran. So having that knowledge about how things are rated can help you know more about the claim.
And I've talked about this before, that I see one of the mistakes that veterans make is that they assume that because the VA awarded them a low percentage, that that's all they're entitled to.
Right.
They think, well, this is what they're giving me. I'm grateful. This must be basically as good as it gets. If this is what they're giving me, this must be what I'm entitled to. And that's not the case.
Exactly. A condition that's a good example of that are TBI and Parkinson's, where there's the VA will assign for Parkinson's a 30% rating. And that's the highest for Parkinson's. But the law says that they also have to rate all of the different residuals. So that can be a huge, you know, part that the VA misses.
So then, so that's a great example. So they could then in turn maybe get 30% for the Parkinson's, but maybe get an additional percentage for the TBI, an additional percentage for something else.
Right. So if you have tremors related to Parkinson's, or speech problems, trouble swallowing is common, you know, all of those things should be rated separately. You might be able to get higher than 30%. Another thing that I find common with, you know, I'm grateful for what they gave me, let's not rock the boat. And I totally get that. I am risk averse, but you can appeal a decision and not risk what you've already been granted. So a lot of times if we get a veteran a grant of individual unemployability, that's 100%. You know, there's not much more to go, but we might disagree with the effective date. Well, you can appeal that. You're happy with what you've been given, but there is still more to go, and you can appeal and not risk losing.
Not risk that. Okay. So number 4, not filing for secondary conditions. So why don't you tell everyone like what a secondary service condition is?
So a secondary or secondary service connection would be if you're service connected for disability. Let's say your back. The VA has said that your back condition is related to service and you're receiving benefits for that. A lot of times with orthopedic claims, because of the pain, the chronic issues that the veteran has, they may develop depression. That depression obviously developed because of their back condition. And so it's the VA should service connect it as secondary to their back. So even though depression didn't start in service, or there's nothing that happened in service that caused the veteran's depression, we see a lot of cases where something like a back issue then turned into something else. And so that condition to them can be service connected.
So you then need to file a separate claim for that condition. Not start all over again, but just add an additional claim for that.
So just to be safe, you know, there's a lot of regulations in case law as far as ins and outs of when the VA is supposed to consider secondary issues and when a veteran is supposed to file a claim. But to be safe, file the claim, get that service connected, because then you can hash out all of the details moving forward. So secondary service connection is a huge thing. You know, think about all of the symptoms that you have related to a condition. A lot of times I like to think of VA ratings as your symptoms need to be compensated for. So there are conditions like Parkinson's where residual problems or symptoms, they can actually be separately rated. And so
can you think of any other, since you mentioned that, can you think of any other common examples or common secondary service connected disabilities?
Obstructive sleep apnea is something that can be secondary to a lot of conditions, but we see it very frequently with PTSD claims. And that's something that it's a very common secondary condition, and it's also very common for the VA to deny it, especially at the regional office level. There's a lot of medical research out there. Doctors can link it. That's a common secondary issue that the VA might deny right off the bat, but it's worth, kind of ties in with
pursuing
and not giving up on the claim.
Yeah. Okay, great. Number 5, failing to obtain a medical opinion. So why, we've done a couple of blogs now on buddy statements. So why are buddy statements not enough?
So buddy statements are great, but there are certain things that you have to have a doctor. Diagnoses and the nexus. So you or I could comment on someone's symptoms, how they were before or after service, things that we notice, but we're not qualified to say a veteran has PTSD or this incident in service, is at least as likely as not to cause this diagnosis. That's something a doctor has to do, and the VA is going to deny a claim. The 2 of the 3 elements for service connection is diagnosis and a link to service.
Right.
And that's something that, unless a presumption applies, which that's a whole nother loop, but you need a doctor to get that link.
Okay. Is there specific wording that the VA prefers?
I would say the biggest one is at least as likely as not.
Yeah.
So that's 50-50. A doctor's report might say the veteran's PTSD is related to service, and that's great. As much as you can throw it in there, but using the exact words that the VA likes to see, the at least as likely as not. When it comes to claims involving individual unemployability, the VA says that veterans who can't find or maintain substantially gainful employment, just terms like that, getting those in there. So that's another, look at the rating criteria for different conditions, see what kind of symptoms or language that the VA use in the rating criteria, and that's something that would be helpful for doctors to use in the reports, kind of buzzwords. You don't want to be able to miss the symptoms.
You want to be able to make it as easy as possible for the VA to say, you know what, this claim checked all the boxes. It's all the right phrasing. It's like, okay, this is clearly identifiable, right?
I say sometimes making the obvious even more obvious.
Yes.
That's possible.
Yeah. Point. All right, Ann, thank you so much. That was really helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to visit our website or call our office. Otherwise, we hope you'll join us again.
Thanks.